All right, my fellow nerds. Remember when I said we were going to go on a world tour? That's still going to happen, but it'll have to start in February because I have decided to do dry January. I know, an aspiring wine expert doing dry January? Sacre bleu. No, seriously, we can all use a break from time to time, and I wanted an excuse to try some of the alcohol-free and dealcoholized wines out there on the market. Plus, this is a fantastic opportunity to finally talk about the vinification process and even some of the viticultural decisions that go into the wines we know and love. Also the ones we don't really know, and actually even the ones we hate. Okay, listen, the decisions that go into all wines. Subsequently, for today's video, we'll be talking about the white wine making process, and then we're going to try this dealcoholized sparkling wine. It's a brut that I grabbed from Wegmans, our local grocery store. Now, this might seem like we're going too far back in the process, but the very first decision that goes into wine is where can I get land and what can I grow there? I think I mentioned in another video that wineland, it sounds like a cool place. The land for wine is extremely expensive. So land outside of AOP land in France, so like not the great land, runs somewhere around 16,000 per per acre, and an acre is about 0.004 square kilometers or 0.0015 square miles for my metric and imperial viewers respectively. So it's not exactly a lot of land, and it is a lot of money. Now, obviously, outside of France and also outside of California, the land can be like a lot less expensive, but depending on your budget, you may have to allow the land to dictate which grapes you grow and what wine you're making rather than the other way around. Once you have your vineyard and you've planted your vines and you have started to grow grapes, so exciting, there are a lot of decisions regarding canopy management, irrigation, pesticides, etc. But that's not necessarily super important for this first look at winemaking. So let's fast forward to harvest time. Picking the grapes at optimal ripeness, whether that's just ripe for the bright high acid wines or a little bit later for sweet wines, can be a tricky affair, and timing aside, there's the choice of hand harvesting or machine harvesting. Machine harvesting basically like shakes the vines so that they will give up the grapes that are ripe enough to just come free, whereas hand harvesting involves sending out skilled and trained humans to select the best grapes. Once the grapes are back at the winery, if the winemaker is sorting them, this can be done again by humans or by machine, which is honestly like this mind-boggling technology. I'll try to find a video and then link that in this video description so you can see it. And the optical sorters are super cool. Okay, that was really quick harvesting, and I glossed over a great deal of stuff that I'm sure I need to know for my upcoming exam. But let's get into the actual wine making. So, this is a fun flow chart that we have for WSET 3 that takes us all the way from grapes to wine for sale. The quick, slightly more elementary rundown version of this flow goes as follows. We have the grapes. We crush the grapes, which can be a slightly misleading or confusing term. Crush simply means enough pressure to break the grape skins. Juice begins to flow. Bonus knowledge, this is called free run juice. For white wines, we also then immediately press the grapes. There are a few exceptions, we can get into that in another session. Pressing is the part where we actually apply enough pressure to kind of squish the pulp and get out more juice. Bonus, this is called press juice. At this point, we can clarify or not, then the juices ferment. Fermentation is the process whereby the yeast, which is usually added yeast, but sometimes ambient yeast, eats the sugars and ta-da, you get alcohol. Now, those spent yeast cells have to go somewhere, so we rack them off, and then the wine may or may not undergo malolactic conversion, which we discussed in the first and currently only vocab video. And now we have wine. Whee! We're not done yet though. So here's where a bunch of the winemaker's choice kind of steps come in, like blending, maturation, blending after maturation, another round of clarification, stabilization, all these choices, and then we package, and now we have wine that can be sent off to be sold and drunk by happy, wonderful, beautiful people. I know that was kind of a quick overview, and I didn't talk about like the vessels we use for fermentation, which can be oaks of various age and size, stainless steel, concrete, big clay pots, underground, lots of options. But I didn't want it to get too overwhelming for the first kind of like round of learning about the process behind winemaking. We're just establishing a foundation in this video, and when we talk about red winemaking next session, you'll probably be a little bit glad that this one was a bit simple, because that chart, also in the book, takes up a full page and has way more colors. So try to maybe just absorb this process, and I promise we'll be getting more complicated. So part of the point of all of this is that for the video after red winemaking, we'll discuss how non-alcoholic and de-alcoholized wines are made. But you're actually going to want to understand the basics of winemaking first. Was that like a tantalizing moment of foreshadowing? I hope so. In the meantime, let's try this. Am I gonna get it? Whew, that was a little loud, but I'll take it. Let's try this non-alcoholic sparkling brew. Okay. We did sparkling grape juice the day after New Year's, because, you know, January 1st already the start. It was so sweet. This is de-alcoholized grape wine, 98%. You'll learn more about that in the foreshadowed video. And 2% grape juice. Now it gets anywhere between 4 to 4.6 stars. I don't know what just happened then. 4 to 4.6 stars on a lot of the sites I checked out. Actually, the second sip was a lot better. The first sip I was nervous, but it's weird. It doesn't taste like champagne. It tastes like the liqueur of a champagne, but then the finish is very grape juice. I'm not sad. You know, I think this is fun. I don't think it's bad. I think you can get used to it. I'll probably have a chance to drink this again before the video posts. So we'll see if it opens up at all, and I'll try to come up with any actual like flavors and tasting notes. Right now I'm just confused. Well, I'm not sad. I'll see you next time to talk about the red wine making process, and we'll try a non-alcoholic de-alcoholized red wine in bed. I'll see ya.